Yo, what's up, guys? It's Joe. It's your boy Joe. It's almost 1 a.m. here. I've been hanging out with my family, relatives in Los Angeles, and so I got delayed trying to make this video. Anyway, I've got a few requests for how to do the Maid-sama song. I made a cover of one of the themes in Maid-sama. I think it's Usui Takumi's theme. It's one of my favorite tunes from the soundtrack of Maid-sama. Great anime. Anyway, I've got several requests for the different parts that I made there, and today I'm making the video for the chords. So this part. It's late. So there you have it. The chords for Usui Takumi. I would break down the song in about 4 or 5 parts. The intro, where it's just that it's the that part, the percussive part, along with the background acoustic chords. Exactly that part. So that's the intro. That's the first part of the song. And then when the main theme comes in, that would be part 2. Part 3 would be where the tune takes a little bit of a turn and gives you some new melody. I think that melody goes like this. That's part 3. Part 4 would be a return to... And then finally part 5 would be a return to just... it's a little more than just percussion and acoustic guitar again, because there's a violin part now. But part 5 would be devoid, I guess, of any of the main melodies. So 5 parts for Usui Takumi's theme. We are learning the chords that go through all 5 parts. I would say parts 1, so the intro, parts 1, 2, where you have the da ba ba da 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 ba. Parts 1 and 2 have the same 2 chords over and over. This is a Cmaj7 chord, followed by a Gmaj7 chord. For those of you that don't know how to play those 2 chords, so you don't, for the Cmaj7 chord, you don't play the 2 E strings. You don't need the 2 E strings for the Cmaj7 chord. You place your first finger on the third finger of the A string. You place your third finger on the 5th fret of the D string. Second finger on the 4th fret of the G string. And finally the pinky, the 4th finger, on the 5th fret of the B string. It's a nice jazz chord, Cmaj7. So that's how you play Cmaj7. And then you have Gmaj7, which is another jazz chord. Here you have the 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the low E. You mute the A string with the underside, with the underside of your 1st finger. You don't want any sound coming out of your A string when you play the Gmaj7. And then 4th fret of the D string with your third finger. Third finger on the D string. And then you place your fourth finger on the fourth fret of the G string. And then finally the second finger on the third fret of the B string. And you play those two chords over and over for parts 1, 2, 4, and 5. Cool. In part 3, you have, what's slightly different is you play this pattern in part 3 3 times. So you go da 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 da. Third time. Da 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 da. And then out of nowhere, the fourth time that you play through the melody. So you play Cmaj7 and Gmaj7 with that pattern 3 times, and then in comes this part where you play Am7. This one's a tricky chord if you've never played it before. You place your second finger on the 5th fret of the low E string, and you use the underside of this same finger to mute the A string. You don't want any sound out of the A string. And then you bar your third finger across the 5th fret of the D, G, and B strings. So after the third time that you go, you play the Am7 and also a D7. Now the way you play a D7 is you don't want the two E strings. You bar your first finger across the middle 4 strings, and then you place your third finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and your pinky, your 4th finger on the 7th fret of the B string. And then you end up with the 5th frets of the A and G strings covered because of the barred first finger. So in part 3 is where you have the variation on the chords, because you play Cmaj7 and Gmaj7 3 times through with the same pattern, picking pattern that I've been playing, and then after that you play Am7 and then D7. Okay. So for parts 1, 2, 4, and 5, you go over and over. That would be one entire intro. That would be part 1. I'm pretty sure part 2 is just like the intro. You play part 1 4 times. You play that Cmaj7 to Gmaj7 with that picking pattern 4 times. Yeah. And then part 4 is just like part 2. So you play those 2 chords with that same pattern 4 times. And then part 5 is exactly the same too. Where we end. And you just end the entire song with a giant sustained Gmaj7. Let me play part 3 for you, the middle section, just so that it's clear how it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me do that again. After the third time, this third time, you play A minor 7, same picking pattern, and D7. And then part 4. This again 4 times. Yeah, so again, parts 1, 2, 4, and 5. I guess you can also call that intro, chorus 1. Intro is part 1, chorus 1 is part 2, chorus 2 is part 4, and then the outro is part 5. And then you have a middle bridge section, which would be part 3. Part 3 is the only one with the chords. Anyway, those are the chords from Maid-sama. If this tutorial did not make sense in any way, please leave a comment below and I will answer your questions. I thought this would be a good way to kind of teach you guys, because there were a lot of requests for chords and stuff from Maid-sama. I'm very surprised. I didn't expect that to kind of become hip. There are other requests for the other parts, like I've already forgotten how to play the funky part. I'll make other videos for the other parts as well, including the melody and all the other parts. If you want to learn the violin part, I can also make a video about that as well. And just let me know. Just let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this tutorial made sense, and I'll see you around in the next video. Good night. I need to get some sleep. Love y'all. Bye.